So tired. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to let you know about some things. Yeah, we've had a bit of a weird week actually. It's been very strange. I'm still doing the backups. Well, it's mostly defragging actually. I'm defragging these drives and it takes hours, frigging hours. I've got that drive over there that's flashing away right now. It's one of the dodgy drives. Well, when I say dodgy, I mean it's it's one which has got no backup sectors left over or whatever. So we have got some bit of good news in a minute. I'm going to let you know. I'll show you. If I bring up my smart thingamajig, this drive's got caution on it because it's one I had in my machine originally. I took it out. Hang on a minute. So basically, it's got no. Where's the focus off? It's got no reserves left in it or something. I don't know. So anyway, I'm defragging it because the reason for that is that a lot of the data that's on that drive is old stuff which I can afford to lose, and what I'm trying to do is defrag and then scan it with I've got a batch file that looks for 0 byte files, and the batch file basically runs, and if it finds any 0 byte files, that's files which have been corrupted and zeroed out where the file is actually doesn't contain any data anymore, it moves all of those files onto a different hard drive, which is my C drive, a temp drive, and then I'll look at the files to see what, if any 0 byte files have appeared in there, and if they have, I know that the drive is basically, yeah, you know what I mean. And then I can get an idea as to whether or not I should trust it to put any backup data on it, because you know, obviously you don't want to back up any good data on a drive that's bad. But it says caution. But the interesting thing is, when I run my, this is the drive that is in that caddy over there, by the way, in that drive caddy. The one that's, let's see if my wire's not very long, but it's the one that's in that caddy right now. And so what's interesting is when I bring up defragler, which is the defrag tool, which I'm not going to use because it's been defragged by another program right now. Oh, I don't know if I can look at it. Let's see. It might be locked. But what's interesting is this program says it's good, right? So smart status says caution, defragler says good. Now when I go to drive map, is it health? When I click on health, sorry, I need to put this, I should have put the phone in the stand really, and I look at the real values. Just a minute, let me just, oh, where's my stand? So the good news is I've ordered some more filament, so I can get on with doing the 3D printing for the magnet motor. Possibly next week, because I think the filament, I'm just taking the cover off here a minute. Sorry about this, I don't want to make you all dizzy. Put this in my thingamajig. Right, let's get this zoomed in a minute. Leave the charger on because I want to charge it up, because right, so why is this tilted? Oh, I don't know. Is my stand straight? Oh, I don't know. Right, so it's what's curious about this thing. Oh, I haven't even updated the menu thing. It wants to be on that. Alright, so let's zoom in a minute. I'll show you what I'm on about. One of the good things I like about defragler, which is a free open source defrag tool. I can't use it because the other tool's defragging it right now, but it's got all this extra information. So if you look under where it says read error rate, I'll zoom in again actually because I use my computer to zoom in a bit. Under read error rate it says threshold 6. Now obviously most of us don't understand what the hell this stuff means, but reallocated sector count, which is below that, it says real value 16, so it's obviously reallocated 16 sectors, and I don't think it can allocate any more than that, because that's why it's got this big caution thing written on it somewhere, but it just doesn't show up on here because it says it doesn't show up on here. It says health is good, so I don't know. So I'm getting contradictory information, one from the smart status and one from this other program, which is basically translating some of this data into real values, which you can understand, because if I go to the smart status, it doesn't tell me anything. So yeah, this drive has got some issues anyway, but as I say, I'm defragging it, and if I end up with 0 byte files, I know that the drive is not reliable enough, but I'm still testing it to find out, so I'm defragging it, because that's one of the best ways of doing it. If you're moving data around, at some point the data is going to get plopped on a sector that's bad, and then it's going to end up 0 byte file, and let's just zoom out again. So right, so that's what the real data is, but the crystal disk info, which is the main smart status, which is coming straight off the drive, it doesn't tell me much at all, because under reallocated sector count, which is yellow, if you look along, it says 100, 100. It says current 100, worst 100, and under threshold it says 10. So what the hell? It doesn't tell me FUCK all. So down here under this is educational for other people who've got hard drives who might want to also check their drives to see if they've got issues. It's a good thing to check your drive on the smart status, because some people have said, well, smart status doesn't mean a damn thing, because sometimes it just gives bad info. Well, I agree with that. It does sometimes give bad information. On this C5 and C6, it says uncorrectable sector count, and it says 95. And it also says that for current pending sector count, it says 95. And then the next graph down, it says worst 94. So what the hell? How can it be lower on the worst? Yeah, I don't know. All this smart status is complete fooey. We're looking at the same hard drive, and I'm getting different numbers on. Let's see. So reported uncorrectable errors. This is on the this is on defragler under the health thing. Now this is what's really blows your mind. Reported uncorrectable errors 11,000,009. Right. And that's under real value. So what the hell? These people that create these hard drives, are they trying to confuse the hell out of us? Because yeah, they've succeeded. And if we go further down, where is it? Granted that this drive has been in use a long time, 550 days, 13 hours. Head flying hours, 550 days. The actual drive is had a lot of use. If we go back to crystal disk info, under here it says, oh shit, I can't get it on my mouse. It's 864 days and 7 hours old, so it's, yeah, it has a lot of use. Well, it's had some use. So I can't remember now if I got this second hand, this drive. I think I did. So it's had a lot of use. But it says 207. Oh, is it? Oh shit! Get out of the way, right? So it's had 20,743 hours of use. This drive it's been powered on for. So yeah. Anyway, it's interesting to look at this sort of stuff to see. But this is what Smart Status says. Obviously, now what's interesting is this particular drive is almost the same as the one that's actually in my computer. So if you look at the number there, it's SD1000 DM003. Now let's click to the one that's actually in my computer. Almost the same. The one that's in my computer, which is healthy and all in good shape, is an SD1000 DX002-2DV165. Blah, blah. That's also 1 terabyte, 1000.2 gigabyte. So if we look at if we compare these drives, right? We look at reallocated sector count, right? That says 100 for current, and it says 100 for worst. But when we flick to the bad drive, the reallocated sector count, right? It's the same frigging number. 100, 110. We go back to the good drive. It's the same frigging number. So this actual drive, this actual Smart Status, it's not telling us a damn bloody thing. So look, this is a good drive, right? So we're looking at, oh shit, I'm knocking everything over here. So look at reallocated sector count, right? It says 100, 100. We're looking at the this bit here. This is, and at the end it says 10, right? So if we go up to the top of the screen where we have a straight line, you can see that number. Now go to the bad one, right? It's the same frigging number, right? So this is why I'm confused. This is why it drives me up the wall. I'm thinking to myself, is the drive bad or is it not? Because I'm getting the same reallocated sector count number on the Smart Status for both drives, the good drive and the bad drive. So yeah, what the hell? So let's look at the current pending sector count, which is down here. Current pending sector count. That's got a reading. This is the bad drive, by the way. Well, the one that's supposedly bad. It says 95 on current, worst at 94, and under threshold it says 0. Right? It's got a yellow exclamation on it. Right. So let's go to current pending sector count on the good drive, which is there. It says 100, 100, and the 0, 0, right? Is that the same? Hang on, is it the same? No, it's not the same. So that's 95, then 94, then 0. But it still doesn't mean anything. It doesn't tell you a damn thing. So yeah, it's confusing. It's very confusing because it's only like 5 different on the numbers and all that shit. So uncorrectable. Now, uncorrectable sector count. 95, 94, let's go to the good one. We actually have a different reading there, uncorrectable. This is a good drive, and it says 100, 100, yeah, my brain's turned into mush now. But you see, I don't trust this thing at all, so let's close the crystal disk info one out. But what's interesting is the fact that we seem to get more common sense when we're looking at the values that are showing up in defragler, a pure form defragler, because it just gives you real values. It seems to be able to translate some of this stuff and make sense out of it down here. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, so I'm getting sidetracked. I just wanted to show you this, which I thought was interesting, because if you happen to have 2 drives that are almost the same type of drive, and one's bad and one's good, and yet the values look the same, how the hell do you understand any of this stuff? Yeah, it really confuses the hell out of you. A lot of people said, "Oh, yeah, don't pay any attention to all this smart status. It doesn't mean a damn thing." Well, I agree with you. It doesn't. The point is that's why I'm scanning. That's why I'm defragging it, and then I'm going to check for 0 byte files. So what I've got is this little program thing. It's a batch file. I'll just close that out. So what I've got is a batch file, and you can do it yourself. You can write the batch file. Let me go to. I got this off edit. I got this off one of the support forums on the internet. So what you basically have is this little batch file that you can write up. Oh, it's off the screen. Sorry about this. Let me try and get you all in. So what it does is it does a search for any files that are actually 0 byte. You could basically and maybe I need to zoom out a bit because it's not all fitting on the screen. And then if you wanted to duplicate and write this down and make your own batch file, be my guest, you can do. So you can basically copy all of that and write your own batch file. So what it does is it has this little section down here. This is a bunch of if exist stuff. It's certain rules. It asks if it checks to see if certain drives exist, right? Before it actually goes through to do the actual main command, which is down here. So what it does is it looks for files, and this is the most important part down here really. So it looks to see, and it copies them to a null place, and then anyway, I've forgotten actually a lot of this when I copy, because I got a lot of this off the internet. You can go and look it up yourself, I suppose, how to find 0 byte files. You can ignore some of this because some of it's really not really. This is just a delay to create a timing thing at the bottom down here, this path ping thing. Instead of having pause or sleep, it has it makes the program wait a few seconds so you can get a chance to read whatever's on the screen. That's all that's there for. But so this is the part that actually checks for the 0 byte files down here, and it looks in subsequent directories as well. It looks so many directories. Well, it keeps looking in deeper directories to find if there's any 0 byte files. Basically, it's a file that's got nothing in it, right? It's like an empty jug that's got nothing in it. So if you've got a file that's got a title and a name, but it doesn't have any content, that's obviously not a file anymore. It's just a name. It's just a tag. So you don't want that on your computer. You want to get rid of all that stuff because you might think you've got a file. You might think you've got a picture, for example, but it's not a picture anymore. It's just a flipping tag. So this little batch file can weed out all the junk and dump it into another directory. And that's just one of the batch files I've got. I've got another one. It gets rid of thumbs, which are thumbnail images. This is another one I use. So this is a thumbnail thing. It's much simpler, much cleaner. It's very simple. What this does is it looks for every single occurrence of a thumbnail picture. That's as in, you know, when you look through your browsers and you're browsing through your directories, you get these little thumbnails of preview images or what the picture is to look at before you click on it to open it properly. So, and I've also got it gets rid of my PaintShop Pro browser thumbnails as well. So this just basically deletes all the thumbs, because I'll tell you what the problem with thumbs is when you're using a comparator program like examdiff, or you're comparing directories, right? So you're looking for differences between one directory and another directory. So one directory, the second directory is the backup directory, and the first directory is your primary directory, the one you use all the time. What you don't want is differences. You don't want to see, oh shit, that directory is not the same as this directory, but it's only different because of these frigging thumbnails. So what you don't want to do is get rid of the thumbnails and they think, they are the same. So all your files are actually in sequence, and they're all synchronized, you know, they're all the same, so in both directories. It was just the fact that you'd browsed the other directory recently and Windows created a bunch of thumbnails, so the directory is no longer the same anymore. And the thumbnails are basically worthless. You don't want to keep those damn things. So this is what this batch file does. It gets rid of the thumbnails so that you can actually compare your directories properly without being sidetracked and thinking they're not the same. So that's what that does. It just deletes all the thumbnails. And I have to do this periodically because some Windows programs, you browse a directory and you end up with a load of frigging thumbnails, and you think shit. And now you can go into some settings and say do not cache thumbnails, which is a good idea because it means it doesn't save them onto your hard drive. But sometimes other programs do that. I mean, PageShop Pro does that as well. So occasionally I'll run this little batch file and it just clears out all the trash. But the only trouble with that, I end up with lots of gaps in my files, and then I've got to defrag it again, you know. It'd be nice if it would stick all the thumbnails at the end of the hard drive, but it doesn't. It tries to stick them where it can find a space, which is really annoying because when you want to defrag your drive, you end up with thumbnails sandwiched between the main files, and then when you do get rid of the thumbnails, you end up with gaps, and then it wants to be defragged again. So yeah, it's painful, but that's what happens. So this has been going for like over 24 hours now, this defrag on the external drive. So once that's done, I'm hoping that there's no thumbnails on there because I think I run the batch file before. I certainly hope there's no thumbnails in there, but anyway, I don't know. I think I got rid of them. Anyway, I'm going to be getting some filament. Hopefully by next weekend it should arrive. I think they said Thursday. I think they said it would arrive by about Thursday. So I've been working on this new design. It's a test, by the way. It's a test design. Let me just see if I can open it. Right. It's a completely different arrangement, or well, not completely different. I mean, it's a different. It's different in the fact that instead of using a steel rod, I'm just using magnets now because I wanted to do an experiment. Let me just find it. Open. See if I can open this file. I've got a grip stone here. Right, yeah, this is the one I'm experimenting with. So this particular why is that like that? I don't know. I think the face is wrong way. Reverse face is, yeah, that's it. Right, so what I've got here is these magnets this is looking edgeways on the magnets, so the actual magnets will be traveling all the way through here. So that, I haven't done that yet, obviously, because I've just got placeholders in here right now. So my idea is to create a situation where we have a North Pole on this side, on the entry side, so we can pull in the moving magnet, which is travelling across here in this direction. Oh, where my mouse is going, I'll probably use my rubber to make it easier. So the moving magnet is travelling, the South Pole magnet is travelling across the face of this, right? Now on this side, because we normally have the south field on this face and it's actually pushing against it, so it's rejecting it from entering the array. So what I've tried to do here is collapse have a north facing pole on this side and having two south facing poles being deflected inwards to the center triangle section here, where we've got another magnet with a north pole down here subtracting that south, so that the south doesn't bubble out and come out the top to create ejection to repel it, the moving magnet, that is. So what I'm trying to do with this design is to figure out a way to pull that rotating magnet in. So once you get to this point, then we have when we get to this point, this magnet here is south on this side, north on this side, south on this side, north on this side, and so on. But we have to cross over that threshold point. We have to get introduced into the field. And so we have north here. When we have south down here, then we have south down here, and then this face down here is north with south pointing out the bottom. And I'm hoping that this will pull it in. And once we get into this array, I want to be able to basically push that moving magnet that's travelling across the face. I want to push it along so that we have thrust on there. Now, at the moment, I've stopped for a breather, basically, because I'm thinking about this, and we do need a certain amount of south field on the other side to be able to propel it forwards in this direction. Now, the problem is, what I was thinking about was, if I'm subtracting all of the south field down here with this magnet, there's not going to be much south there. It's all going to be, it's not going to be propelling it along very well. So what I was trying to work out was whether or not I need to stick some steel rod or something between the gaps of these two magnets to create some sort of a directional flow to push that along. I don't know. So I'm kind of thinking about it at the moment before I get back to it, but I certainly don't want to model it yet because I haven't got any filament anyway, so there's no rush. I've got a little bit, but I don't think I've got enough to print all of this lot anyway. So this is just basically a doorstep test block. It's just something I hold in my hand and to test out an idea. It's not going to be part of a rotor at this point. It's just something to play around with. Obviously, you need something to hold the magnets securely, and that's what this is, because you can't hold them properly in your hands. They just keep flipping around and jumping out your hands and all sorts of weird shit. You know, you just can't keep them where they want to be. And blue tack tends to move, so you can't stick them in blue tack because they keep moving all the time. So you need a solid form to hold them. That's what this is. So anyway, just thought I'd give you an update on what's going on. So I'm going to go back and finish defragging, and yeah, I just thought I'd let you know where we are at the moment. Anyway, I haven't given up. I've had a nice break, but I still feel like a break, continuing my break for another week anyway, until the filament arrives. So, because it's just been crazy. Problems at the shop with a machine going wrong and charging me twice, and that's been really stressful because now the shopkeeper says, because we went to the bank and I got charged twice, you see, they tried to fix it so that the double payment was recovered. Now it turns out the shop didn't get any payment at all. What the hell? So where did the other payment go? Right? This is what's driving me up the wall. So I went to the shop, right? I bought some goods. I got charged twice. It wasn't the shop's fault. It was a problem with the machine, right? So I go to the bank and I said the first payment that I made was a failed transaction. It said it didn't go through. Therefore, I think there's a problem with the first transaction. Can you recover that transaction because I've been paid? I paid it twice. So the bank says, "Oh, we'll sort that out. It'll take a few days." Blah blah blah. And then I talked to the shopkeeper again over the phone. They said that now I haven't paid for goods now. I think, what the hell? What do you mean I haven't paid for goods? I mean, 2 charges went through. You must have got the payment, sort of thing. And it's driving me up the wall trying to think what's going on. So the money went somewhere. So has something or someone taken money out of my account and stolen money? Yeah, that's where I'm kind of at right now. We're trying to figure out if somebody's robbed me and robbed the shop of money. This is why I'm stressed out right now. I just need to get back into this to take my mind off it all, because I'm sure the bank will figure it out and sort it out, because that money went somewhere. If it didn't go to the shopkeeper, where the hell did it go? So I mean, okay, it's a small amount of money. We're talking about 13 quid, like, you know, which is an unlucky number as well. Now, that money went somewhere. Now, before I'd paid twice, it came up twice, which was 27 quid. So there's no way I want to be paying out 27 quid for goods which were valued at 13 quid, right? So the bank's trying to fix all this mess, and I've got a record on my bank account which says that the money was paid out to the shop, right? But the shop doesn't have a record of money coming in from me now. So there's something weird going on here. We can't figure it out. All I know is that my bank says that I paid the money, but the shopkeeper says that they haven't received funds now. So, but when they recovered the double payment, they must have recovered the wrong payment. I don't know. They should have recovered it from the fraudulent or the errored payment, which seemed to have disappeared into the ether, and we don't know where the hell that is. It could be on Timbuktu, it could be on flipping Cloud9, it could be on bloody Alta Centauri or somewhere. So £13 went to somewhere, but we don't know where it went. And it's that we need to recover. Then I can go and pay the shopkeeper the actual money that I owe them, which at the moment it looks like I already have because it says it's come out of my account. So it's really driving me up the wall, trying to think I'll figure this all out. It's stressful because I am not paying it twice, even though the shopkeeper says I haven't paid it at all now, because the bank recovered one payment and they recovered the wrong one, right? So the bank recovered the wrong payment. It really it melts your brain. It really does, trying to figure this stuff out. So this is where I am at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to go before I talk myself into a limbo situation, because I just can't think straight right now. Anyway,